Hello, this is OverlordBou back with another information video, and today we're going to be doing a first look at the historical submarine, the Seal. Now we know the ship says Selkie, but that will be renamed in the future, but the ship is currently the Seal that's currently under testing as of patch 14.0. So all the stats will be showing us going to be up to change, so they are not finalized. So historically, the Seal was a mine-laying ship which was later turned into has long-range torp attacks and transport missions. So this ship has a lot of HP with 20,200 HP, and I'll let SAT do a little bit more on the details of the ship.
So we'll start with the ship's hull, 19,200. She's not armored like the other submarines, but that's a ton of HP for a submarine.
Mm-hmm.
Wargaming also says it's she gets a pretty big dive capacity, 300 units in this case. Uh, Before we move on to the torps, we can also mention, just like Thrasher, she gets one main deck gun.
Yep.
Fires SAP shells. Not very effective, but you have something to shoot back at the destroyer before they sink you, at least.
Mm-hmm.
The main thing about her is her 6 torpedoes. Similar to U-2501, they're all bow mounted, and they're very similar to the British homing torpedoes, but boasting higher damage per torpedo, long range, and a high speed ping. But the problem is, and the one that doesn't show up in the port, is that the homing cuts off earlier than other submarines. I.e., the way to describe it is each class has a dead zone around them in which submarine torps will stop homing. So for battleships, they stop homing at a longer distance than destroyers. But in Seal's case, her submarine torps will actually stop homing earlier than any other sub, which is a pretty big disadvantage, especially against destroyers.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be such a pain. So pretty much the side effect is this ship gets higher damage torpedoes, but the homing, you kind of have to double ping a target. If you don't, you're probably not going to hit a target.
hmm And all of her torpedoes are bow mounted, so with a 13-kilometer range, it is actually pretty nice. In theory, you can just sit outside, like say radar range, and just spam torps from there until you hit something. The reload time is a bit high though, and because of that, and because of the because of the higher cutoff distance for homing, you have you're likely going to go for less mobile targets.
Yep.
Basically, battleships and island hunting cruisers.
Yep. So on the surface, the ship has a top speed of 28.4 knots. Standard. It's slow, just like the other British, and it has a top speed of 16.8 underwater, which is also standard for the British sub. So this ship is not the fastest for submarines.
Mm-hmm. Wargaming describes her gameplay as between that of a normal sub and of a torpedo destroyer.
Mm-hmm.
She basically say keep making long-range attacks on stationary or poor maneuverability ships. Specifically, pick out enemy cruisers or battleships positioned near islands. And then they also said just avoid subs. Try to avoid subs whenever you can. Because of that increased homing cutoff, it's going to be much harder to hit subs. And since you're pretty big and not as fast or maneuverable, they're going to probably land more hits on you.
Mm-hmm.
Not a good thing.
Yeah, that's not going to be a lot of fun. So this ship comes with DCP, the hydrophone, submarine surveillance at 6 kilometers. The hydrophone is also 6 kilometers, and it does come with a reserve battery unit, which you can get extra of, so you have a total of 3, and they are 30 seconds, so they're pretty much from the Germans over to the British. So it's nice of them to have. So the build is going to be pretty standard of a British sub. As you can see here, the build is going to be on the screen, so you guys take a look at that. The submarine surveillance, you can switch that out for torpedo tubes modification instead if you want faster torpedoes. but that's more of like a personal preference. Again, all these builds are theoretical, just going off of just the stats that were shown. So very, very similar build to just typical British submarines. Pretty much is all I'm going to be doing, is very similar builds here. Just watchful is going to be one of the most important skills. Of course, you want enlarged propeller shaft to be able to go quicker when you're on the surface and at periscope. And because it does take longer for the batteries to recharge, it's nice to have the improved battery efficiency so you're able to recharge your batteries quicker. Because like SAT score said, you can sit at distance and just sit on the surface and kind of just farm away while reversing. But at some point, you are going to have to dive and move around at periscope. So it's nice to have a better recharge rate when you are able to surface and actually recharge your batteries. And all the stats we're shown are, again, able to be changed. They're not in their final state. So just take it as the theoretical of what Wargaming is trying to design, and they're going to work around that.
Yep, and remember, this is a preview of the ship. The stats will likely change during testing, and we do not know when these ships will be released.
Yep, we have no idea. It could be a year, it could be a month, 2 months, 3 months. We never know. Normally the testing cycle's normally like 3 or 4 months, but it really depends on also like how long or how many ships they have in a lineup. Because some ships, they've already completed their testing, they're just waiting to be released.
Yeah, it's not uncommon. Not uncommon for ships to literally sit on the shelves and Wargaming takes it out whenever they have a rainy day.
It's like, oh, we have a free slot? Shove it in there. The concealment on this thing is actually pretty big. It's 6.6 kilometers. That's a large concealment for a sub. That's almost as bad as the Japanese sub.
For reference, like even an L-Bing can actually just run and can sneak up on it. That's pretty bad.
Yeah, that is pretty bad. But yeah, for gameplay wise, it's going to be pretty unique in the fact that it has the forward-facing torpedoes. Other than that, I don't know. You have the U-45 already as a really good sub. This one is just going to be a long-range sniper sub is what it seems like. Just long-range, just bugging the living hell. Oh, the torpedoes are also, the number of loaders is 3. So it doesn't reload as quickly as the Germans either. It reloads just like the British.
The reload time itself is a bit on the long side, 90 seconds.
Yeah, when you build into it, it goes down to 76.5. So about a minute and 16 seconds. So you're going to have to ration out your torpedoes pretty well with this ship, or you aren't going to be doing a lot of damage.
Well, the sonar does travel pretty fast though, 800 meters per second, which is faster than most other ships.
Oh yeah, it does for sure. That is going to be pretty long. But yep, if you guys have any questions or concerns on the seal, let us know in the comments down below. But this is OverlordBou and SAT score. Thank you all for watching. If you guys enjoy these first look videos, definitely let us know. Do appreciate you guys' feedback on them, and I will talk to you all in the next video.